Good day, everyone. This is yours truly, John Michael Versosa. Please add me at Forever Sosa. So our topic for today is Chapter 2, uh, the firm and its environment. For now, we will be discussing Part 1 or Module 4, again with the same title. For our quotations of the day, we will start with the first one. This one is from Jack Welch, and according to him, if the rate of change from within the organization is not as fast as the change outside, then the end is near. So, people and organizations should be able to adjust, should be able to adapt to whatever is happening around them. If they're slower than the pace of what's happening externally, then, as he said, the end is near for us. The second quotation is from Sun Tzu, and according to him, if ignorant of both your enemy and yourself, you're certain to be in peril. So, you should know your enemy as much as you know yourself. Yun lang naman po yung pinakasimpleng idea nitong quotation ni Sun Tzu. If you do not know the organization that you're working in, if you don't know the organization, how much more can you know the other factors within and outside the organization? So now we will discuss the external and internal environment and the industry and competitor analysis. So I would like to ask you, what is environmental scanning? What are your ideas about the term environmental scanning? So environmental scanning is the ongoing tracking of trends and occurrences in an organization's internal and external environment that bear on its success. So ibig po sabihin, kailangan na-identify mo yung mga current trends. Alam naman po natin yung trends, tsaka yung mga occurrences. Ibig sabihin, yung po mga day-to-day basis. Ano po ba yung nangyayari? What are the scenarios that are happening? Both sa loob at sa labas ng isang organization. Whether currently or in the future. Ano bang nangyayari ngayon? And also, ano yung possible na mangyari balang araw sa isang organization? So we have first the external analysis. So for external analysis, we have the STEEP forces. So people will be asking me, Sir, bakit yung ibang books, it's STEP? Some, it's PES with the N. Yung iba, STEEP. Yung iba, pastel. Yung iba, there are so many variations. But for me, the predominant factor is the STEEP. Actually, when I was doing my master's, we're using the Pestel C with the added component of competitive forces. Next, you have the internal analysis. So, what about the internal analysis? Ano ba yung mga nangyayari sa organization? Again, different authors, different books have their own interpretations of the internal analysis. But for me, these are the following. The McKinsey 7S framework and the David's internal audit, or commonly known as organizational diagnosis. Hindi po organizational dialysis. Iba na pong kwento yan. And last is the industry and competitor analysis. Industry is the industry itself, of course. And then your competitor, sino ba yung pinaka malapit sa range mo. No? So let's say you are number 10 in the quick service restaurant, in the QSR. So hindi ka pwede basta-basta mag-aim kagad sa number 1, no? Within 3 years. Iano mo muna, you have to focus first on the top 10, rise from number 10 to number 8 or number 9, or at least maintain your number 10 position. Hindi po pwedeng within 3 years maging number 1 ka kagad, no? It takes, again, I will repeatedly say this, it will take time. I'm not saying it's not achievable, but it takes time and effort. So we have here the industry situation. So you have to know what is happening in your industry. Ano po ba yung sitwasyon ngayon? Let's say nagkaroon ng problema based from the external analysis, then that is also the situation of your industry. Apektado po. And next is the 5 forces of Porter. Porter's 5 forces model. So as previously discussed, environmental scanning is the processing of internal and external operating environment. So you can do that environmental scanning through the SWOT matrix, wherein the S and W element, or strength and weaknesses, is from the internal environment, whereas the opportunity and threat naman ay galing dun sa external environment. So the SWOT matrix is the summary of what is happening. It is the summary of the environmental scanning of an organization's internal and external environment. So first, we proceed with the strengths. So here are the characteristics. Dito po nakalagay yung mga characteristics that an organization excels at. Ano po ba yung mga strengths ninyo? Magagaling yung mga tao nyo, outstanding yung mga skills, marami kayong pera, magaling yung marketing department nyo, and so forth. Next, you have the weaknesses. So weaknesses are characteristics that may hinder an organization, which might inhibit or restrict its performance. Hindi naman niya sinabing dito ka madadali, but rather, ito yung medyo kahinaan mo, no? Konting kailangan i-minimize mo yung characteristics na to, no? Next, you have the opportunities. So opportunities are characteristics. The keyword for all of them is characteristics that have the potential to help the organization achieve or exceed its strategic goals. So ito yung mga sinasabi nga nila, once in a lifetime opportunity. Ito yung mga chances mo. Where can you go further? And last, you have the threats. So threats are characteristics that may prevent the organization from achieving its goals. So ito yung mga characteristics na pwedeng niyang pigilan ang isang organization, or worse, ito yung mga Achilles heel ng isang organization. Because of these threats, the organization may cease to exist. Ibig sabihin, pwede siyang magsara dahil dito sa mga threats na to. Hindi naman po sinabing threats na katulad ng sa law na death threat. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga scenario na pwedeng magkaroon ng problema. Might force the organization to close or file bankruptcy. So what are you going to do with each of the following factors? So first, ito, ayan, ulitin ko lang. So you have the strengths and weaknesses as internal factors, and opportunities and threats as the external factors. So for strengths, you must use them, of course. Even without looking at the SWOT matrix of an organization, kahit sa inyo na lang po, ano ba yung mga skills na nag-excel ka, saan ka magaling, use them. No? Hindi naman po dapat itago yung mga skills na yan or talents na yan. For weaknesses, you must overcome. No? At least, hindi siya maging major flaw. No? Of course, everyone has their own sets of weaknesses, but as much as possible, minimize them. No? Ibig sabihin, hindi ka na matatakot pag dating dyan sa mga weaknesses. No? For the opportunities, exploit. So what do you mean by exploit, sir? Let's say for you, no? Nagtatrabaho ka ngayon sa Pilipinas and then there is a job opening. Let's say sinabi ng relatives mo sa Middle East or sa US, ay, pumunta ka rito, merong mga vacancy. No? Merong trabaho dito sa Amerika, may trabaho dito sa Australia, sa Canada, no? Or even Afghanistan, no? So you can exploit these opportunities, grab them. And for the threats, neutralize, no? Paghandaan mo yung mga threats na yan. No? Prepare for the threats, the possible worst case scenarios, no? Para hindi ka apektado. Pag dumating yung ganong crisis, no? Meron kang contingency plans. Meron kang possible scenarios na hindi ka mahihirapan in the long run. I already discussed the SWOT analysis or SWOT matrix. So now we will discuss the first half. Paano mo makukuha yung mga opportunities and threats side of the SWOT matrix? And you can use the STEEP forces. Again, it can be STEP, it can be STEEP, it can be PESTEL, any variety, but let's focus more on the STEEP forces. Medyo hindi naman po siya pang super duper advanced. So again, environmental scanning pa rin siya, no? So STEEP forces. So you have here the firm, no? Hindi po firm yung matigas, no? Yung firm yung organization itself or the company. So there are 5, kaya nga STEEP, no? Or yung iba tawag nila dyan peste, but of course it masakit sa tenga pag marinig mo na peste. But yeah, so ano ba pinagkaiba ni peste sa pestle? Pinagsama lang yung political and legal. Kasi in a way, both political and legal forces are in conjunction with one another. Diba? And then you have the economic, the socio-cultural, the technological, and ecological. Or some people call it the environmental or natural forces. So what are these? So si political, no, ito yung mga usual, marami sila actually. Pero ito yung pinaka-prevalent na topics for the forces. So let's say regulations, no? Like BIR, yung train law, ano pa ba? No? Political stability. Gaano ka-stable? Maka naman every 2 years may kudeta si government natin. Corruption. I will rather not speak about it. It's up to you because it's a different topic altogether. Taxation policy. Yan nga. Let's say a corporate income tax na pinopose ng government. Now, pwede siyang gawing political force and also legal force na rin po. Bureaucracy. As mentioned in chapter 3, the government is one of the most dominant users of bureaucracy, and rightfully so. And press freedom. Again, hindi lang nakalagay dito, but the laws, all things pertaining to laws for businesses, especially relative to business, are included sa political and legal factors. For the economic forces naman po, ang mga handle niya is economic growth, or lack thereof. Interest rate, inflation rate, employment rate. Magkano ba ang pasweldo, labor costs, and income levels. Economic forces affect. Sabi nga, political muna una actually. And then apektado siya due to economic factors, and then economic factors affect society. Hence, you have the socio-cultural. So, ano po ba yung socio-cultural? Marami rin po, pero ito lang yung mga pinaka-prevalent or pinaka-usual na it comes to mind. So, you have migration patterns, age distribution, career attitudes ng mga tao, cultural barriers, ano bang problema sa society, consumer views, why is your product not selling? Perhaps because the Filipino society does not believe in that product or kulang sila sa introduction sa ganung product. And population trends, gaano po ba kabilis ang paglago, what anong edad yung mga madalas mag-consume ng yung mga products or services, anong klaseng mga tao ang gumagamit ng services offered or products offered by your organization. Next, you have the technological. So technological is more about the innovation. Dati hindi siya ganun ka-prevalent, or hindi siya ganun ka-dominant sa forces. Nandiyan lang po siya unti-unti. But now, siya yung isa sa mga dominant among the 5. Innovation, automation, R&D or research and development activity, intellectual property, inventions, yun nga, kasama na rin dito sa innovations yan, research funding, so actually magka-conjunction lang itong mga to, and copyrights or patents. And last is ecological. So sa ecological naman or environmental, you have the weather, the climate, and in conjunction to that, you have climate change. Nagbabago po unti-unti ang ating klima. Dati, September, more on malamig-lamig na, pero ngayon, meron pa ring time na mainit. Parang summer pa rin. Natural disasters, in conjunction to climate change. Yung mga malalakas na lindol, baha, deforestation. Pero yung more earthquakes and floods, typhoons. Energy savings, and corporate social responsibility. Marami pa po yan, but you can research on it. Ito yung sabihin na natin pinaka-usual that comes to mind. So now, we discuss the external environment. For the internal environment, there are actually 2 of them. Two tools to determine the strengths and weaknesses of an organization. First, you have David's internal audit. So, ano po ba yung internal audit? So, here, you have the management. Anim sila, Management, you have, ito yung mga usual na hinahanap mo sa internal environment, sa management. The quality of management, the quality of staff, the degree of centralization, baka naman lahat ng decision making nakaatang sa taas. The org chart, planning and control systems, that's management, and that is more or less the focus of this subject, which is organization and management. Number 2, the marketing. Kamusta naman ang marketing side? So ano ba meron sa marketing? You have distribution channels. How do you distribute your product? How about your market share? Do you do advertising? Advertisements? How about customer satisfaction? Masaya po ba yung customer mo? Baka naman your reputation, lalo na sa service. Baka nga magaling yung company nyo, pero yung mga tao naman medyo nasusuplado or palpak yung after sales and sales force turnover. Next, you have MIS or Management Information Systems. And MIS pertains to the following. So, more on, hardware, software, data, procedures, security, and inputs and outputs. Accounting and finance. Ito actually isa sa lifeblood to. Ito yung main weapons ng management. So, you have the financial statements, and from the financial statements, meron tayong makukuhang financial ratios. And from those financial ratios, you can make your own the organization's decision making. So anong decision making po yan? Investments. Where do you invest? Financing decision. How will you do your financing? Mga capitals. And dividend decision. Will you distribute them or not? Production and operations. So ano naman po meron sa production and operations, especially for those who are planning to take up BSBA operations? Location of resources. Saan po ba yung resources mo? Baka yung nakuha mo ngang warehouse murang-mura nga, or factory, pero yung resources mo napakalayo naman. Machine obsolescence. Are your equipment still useful or medyo napag-iiwanan na po siya ng panahon? Purchasing systems. Isa to sa mga importante. Again, another one is supply chain. Especially sa mga products. Your supply chain, again, must not be broken. It should continue. And then, sa operations ng services is quality control. Ano meron sa quality control? How are your services and products being monitored? And the efficiency. Ito isa sa importanteng factors for accounting and finance sa ratios. And last is research and development. So anong pong meron sa research and development? Again, more on research. Not all companies or organizations have an R&D. Some of them just outsource their R&D, which is not really wrong. But yung mga malalaking company, especially sa tech, dito talaga yung lifeblood nila, R&D. So you can do basic applied research, laboratory capabilities, research programs, possibly new product innovations. So pag nagawa mo yung new product innovations na yan, pakita ko lang, magiging external na siya. Technology innovations and the consumer, because your consumer, you must research about your consumer. Hence, meron nga tinatawag na market research. And another one, to determine your internal or internal environment for organizations is the McKinsey 7S. So what is McKinsey 7S? So McKinsey 7S, here it is. So there are, again, 7 nga, 7S. So what are these 7S? You have the strategy, structure, and systems. So there's a division between them. As you can see, yung tatlong nabanggit ko ay hard S. And the other 4, which are skills, staff, style, and last but not the least, the shared values in the middle are considered as the soft S. So McKinsey 7S is a framework that helps identify the organization, the various areas. So ano ba yung strategy ng isang organization? What is the structure? Ano ba yung mga systems in place? Ano ba yung style or leadership ng organization? How about the staff or the employees of the organization? And the skills that they possess. And last but not the least, yung values. Ito ngayon yung isa sa pinaka-focus right now. If you will look at most companies, meron na silang core values or shared values. Shared values is sometimes also called as superordinate goals. So it enables in understanding the hard and soft elements within the business that are potentially impacted by any proposed changes from within, as per initiated by management. So let's discuss the 7 interdependent elements. So we start first with the hard elements. Ano ba yung hard elements sa tingin natin? We already mentioned 3 of them. So you have strategy. So what do you think is strategy? Huh? What will you do in the long run? At the very least 3 years. Huh? So it is the purpose of the business and the way the organization seeks to enhance. No? Nabanggit natin kanina, no? Enhance. Yun yung ipo-focus natin as an organization. Siyempre, you will not enhance your weaknesses. Parang binibigyan mo ng bala yung mga kalaban mo yan. So, enhance your strengths, which will give you your competitive advantage. Next, the structure. The structure is the division of activities. So, dito nga nanggagaling yung organizational chart. Paano ba ang organization ninyo? Baka it's too complex for others or too simple naman. So, division of activities and integration and coordination mechanisms. So, yung mga tao ba dyan sa organization mo ay nag-uusap-usap pa ba o kanya-kanya na sila? Next is the systems. So, what are systems? They are formal procedures. Procedures, keyword, we will discuss these later. For measurement, reward, and resource allocation. Soft elements, there are 4, as mentioned already. The shared values, or again, another name is superordinate goals, but let's just make it easier. Shared values are explicit or implicit fundamental beliefs, concepts and principles that underlie the culture of an organization. Iba po ang kultura sa bawat company. Meron kanya-kanyang identity po yan. So let's say na masukan ka sa Metrobank. Iba po ang culture when you're working at Metrobank compared to working at, let's say, PNB or Land Bank. Even though they're the same, they are in the same industry, which is the banking industry. Iba-iba po yung ugali ng mga tao. Skills. So skills are the core competencies, and the distinct capabilities. Skills set you apart. Let's say yung isang tao magaling siya mag-drawing, and then the other one is magaling naman siya mag-memorize. Or yung isang matalino, first honor, magna cum laude, scholar, then the other one is more of an athlete type. Nananalo siya ng mga medals sa palarong pambansa, SEA Games, Asian Games, or even the Olympics. Kanya-kanya po tayong skills. Let's admit that. Next, the staff. So ano naman meron sa staff? Mga tao. So for staff, it's the organization's human resources. So this is where HR comes in. Yung mga taong nagtatrabaho sa isang organization. The demographic, educational, and attitudinal characteristics. So, ano po yung mga klaseng tao ang meron sa organization? Anong kanilang educational background? Or gaano kataas ang kanilang napag-aralan? Or ano yung kanilang mga attitudes? Yung attitudes, nadadamay po lahat yan. So, as you can see in the previous slide, nasa gitna si shared values. So, shared values is the conjunction of all these 6, including the last one, which is style. So, style is the typical behavior patterns of key groups, such as managers and other professionals, but more or less, more on the leadership. Again, style makes the difference. Or kung gusto mo masakit, style mo bulok. But all these 6 strategy, structure, systems, skills, staff, and style overlap to form the shared values of the organization. Now, let us discuss the local and international business environment of the firm. So yung local, let's say here, you have the Philippines. This is local kasi tayo lang naman po mga Pilipino. The Philippine market. Ito po yung mga nangyayaring steep forces inside the Philippine market. So, the local business is driven by specific local conditions and the market characteristics. So, just because you're number one in the Philippines doesn't mean you're also number one in Malaysia or Thailand. I remember in the past, may nag-aalok sa amin ng window type ECU. And ang sales pitch nung ahente is, we are number 3 in Thailand. I mean, there's nothing wrong. That's good. No? You're number 3 or number 2 in Thailand. But again, iba po ang scenario. Sabi ko, yes, it's number 2 in Thailand, but it hasn't proven itself yet in the Philippine market. So I guess, konting marketing pa, no? Try to expose the product more. No? Kulang sa exposure. And again, that's the same case naman kung si Carrier, no? Concepcion Carrier ACU. Pupunta sa Thailand, sasabihin niya, number 1 ACU brand kami, no? For window type ACU sa Pilipinas. Sasabihin lang ng mga Thai, no? Mga Thailander, sa Pilipinas yun, no? Pero dito hindi. And next, you have the world, no? Or the world. Ginawa ko lang Japanese, Zawarudo. So, buong mundo. No? So the Zawarudo is the environment outside the Philippines. So, if you will see, ang liit-liit lang ng Pilipinas, yung bilog na yun, no? Compared to the world. And, fun fact, no? Walang nakakonquer ng buong mundo. Nobody has ever conquered the world, whether it be the Romans, the Roman Empire, Alexander the Great, even Genghis Khan wasn't able to conquer the world. Napoleon wasn't able, of course. The British, lapit-lapit na pero hindi pa rin. And even sa mga businesses, nobody has ever conquered the world. Even McDonald's cannot conquer the world. As evidence here in the Philippines. Si Jollibee pa rin ang number 1. But overall, they're number 1. But conquering all of it is not possible. So for the continuation of local and international business environment of the firm, here are the 3 key terms. First is competitive advantage. We already discussed competitive advantage a few slides ago, but I would like to know what is your definition of, what do you think is the definition of competitive advantage? And then next is environmental uncertainty. So I guess even without knowing the full definition, meron naman po tayong idea kung what is environmental uncertainty. And last but not the least is environmental complexity. So first and foremost, competitive advantage pertains to distinguishing features or characteristics. Again, characteristics, narinig na naman po natin, or features. They're pretty much the same. Interrelated lang po yung dalawang words na yan. Of a business organization that enable it to perform better than rival organizations. Inulit ko lang po. Competitive advantage mo, magaling ka sa math. Competitive advantage niya, magaling siya sa science. So, one organization's competitive advantage may not be the same as to another organization. So, iba po siguro yung competitive advantage ni, let's say, Jollibee versus McDonald's, or sa mga, let's say, sa Oppo, iba yung competitive advantage ni Oppo, Vivo, Huawei versus that of Samsung and Apple. Environmental uncertainty, on the other hand, pertains to the lack of complete information. So, if you do not have the necessary information, pag kulang ka ng informasyon, there is that level of uncertainty. Let's say may manliligaw ka, kulang ka sa information tungkol sa pagkatao niya, then there's that uncertainty. mapagkakatiwalaan ba tong tao na to? Forget manliligaw, no? Yung taong kilala mo, pero kulang ka ng information about this person. Mapagkakatiwalaan ba tong tao na to? Tapat ba ang intentions niya? No? O baka naman loko-loko pala to, no? About the current and future environment of the firm. So kulang ka sa data, hindi mo alam yung mga trends, hindi mo alam yung mga possible threats in the future, opportunities, then that gives the environmental uncertainty to the firm. Hindi natin alam kung anong possible. When you're making, let's say, a forecast or scenarios, hindi naman po talaga siya 100% mangyayari, but at least you're prepared for any possible situations that may arise. No? Mga possible na pwedeng mangyari. And last, environmental complexity is the presence of numerous factors prevailing in the environment that change over time. So hindi naman po forever yung mga factors na yan sa business environment. That's what sets businesses apart. The technology of 1970s is no longer, di ba, compared to 2021. It's very different. Or the political environment in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, or even 2000s and 10s are different compared to that of the 2020s. The peste, or the steep, or even the international forces. So siguro nung year 2000, friends pa natin si US, but now 2020, kunwari lang, si Russia naman tayo, no? Si Russia naman ang BFF ng Philippines, or si China, for political forces. A lot of things can happen. The firm and both of its internal and external environment are very dynamic. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng uncertainty and complexity. And within those two, you must identify where you stand, which is your competitive advantage. So sabi nga nila, stand users attract each other. So now, before we proceed with the international environment, dito muna tayo sa local environment through an industry analysis. So what is industry? ABM students, can you give me an idea what is industry? So an industry is a group of companies. So here we go, keyword. Group of companies offering the same products or similar products or services. So let's say si Manila Hotel, and Shangri-La Cebu, Shangri-La Mactan, they're on different places pero they're operating on the same industry, which is the hotel and resort industry. Or si Lala Moves and Grab, delivery courier service industry. Next, meron siyang similar products. They have similar products or services. So they may both be hotels, or they may both be selling mobile phones, or cars. So that is industry. Next, what is industry analysis then? So an industry analysis is a tool that facilitates a company's understanding of its position relative to other companies. So kamusta naman yung industry na ginagalawan mo? Maganda ba ang kalakaran right now or the future, or lahat po kayo ay nahihirapan relative to other companies that produce similar goods or services? So konting difference lang siya, but here you're not just describing your industry, but you're giving the scenario. You're analyzing, pinag-iisipan nyo yung nangyayari sa industry na ginagalawan natin. we are local environment, we will now proceed with the international environment. So we must understand it through the global management. And I have again three terms. First is global management, second, global business, and number three is globalization. So what are these three terms? Let's start with global management. So global management refers to the management, kaya nga management, the management of businesses and organizations with operations in more than one country. So this one is a definition by Schermerhorn. So more than one country, no? Let's say si Nestle, Philippines, no? Hindi lang naman po siya naka-restrict ang operation sa Pilipinas. Meron din po siya sa ibang bansa. Next, what is global business? So global business pertains to businesses or a business environment that poses challenges in adaptations to the cultures and business conduct in foreign countries. So a good example of this is Jollibee. No? For some people who have eaten Jollibee in other countries, people will notice na, sir, bakit pag nanonood ako ng YouTube, no, iba yung itsura ng mga pagkain ng Jollibee? Parang mas malalaki yung portion. Or meron silang mga items na wala sa menu natin. Because most of the time, you have to adjust a little bit. Iba po yung formula ng Jollibee sa Pilipinas compared to that of the US or to that of Vietnam. So maybe sa Vietnam, they prepare a little spicier food. So mas maanghang yung mga chicken joy nila doon. Or they do not like some items, or probably hindi sila kumakain ng mga ganong foods. Or like yung ginawa ni McDonald's sa India, wherein hindi po sila kumakain ng beef, because the cow is sacred to Hindus. And some people naman sa India are Muslim, so they have that vegetarian option for their patty, or for those who eat meat naman, they have lamb, tupa. And last is globalization. It pertains to the growing interdependence among people around the world. So a good example of globalization is that yung mga, let's say, yung cellphone na gamit natin, yung parts niya, they are assembled in one country, but the parts and the management itself are from different countries. Hindi na po lahat ng gamit natin, let's say, made in China. Yes, it's made in China, but some of the parts are not from China. Probably some from South Korea, from Japan, or even here in the Philippines. Tapos yung may-ari ng business is American or European. So that is global management. So we will return to industry. Na-define na natin si industry kanina, the people and activities involved in one type of business. Mas naging simple pa yung definition. Next, again, it's a group of productive enterprises. Yun nga yung mas detalyadong definition. Or organizations that produce or supply goods, services, or sources of income. And last, sa economics daw, there are different kinds of industries. In the definition of economics, they are classified as primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. For some books, hanggang tertiary lang. But let's give the benefit of the doubt na merong quaternary. So technically, there are 5 kasi sabi nga secondary industries are sometimes further classified as heavy and light. So ano po ba yung mga pinagsasabi niyo dyan, sir? Let's see later. Industry, we have, again, the 4 types. First, yung primary. So ano po ba yung primary? Usually, they are renewable. Ibig sabihin, nagre-replenish. So, ano ba mga example nito? Yan, nabanggit na rito. Agriculture, forestry, livestock, and etc. And exhaustible. No? So, yung mga nauubos naman. So, ano naman po ito mga to? Quarrying, extraction, and mining ng mga raw materials. So, second type, no, or the secondary type of industry is more on sa manufacturing. For the third type, or tertiary, you have industries that while producing no tangible goods, provide services or intangible gains or generate wealth. Ang mga nagpapayaman daw po. So, they provide services. Bang pwedeng mga ganong services? Let's say, sa bookkeeping service, legal services, delivery services. Usually more of service, or they're doing products, mga kino-commission mo, papagawa ka ng product. 3D printing is one of them. No? And last but not the least is quaternary. So, some books do not have this one, pero nakakombine siya with the tertiary. So, you have the information systems, information technology, research and development, financial and strategic analysis and consulting, media and communications technologies and services, and let's include education. Tayo po, no? Tayong nasa academe is also considered as quaternary industry. So how can you do industry analysis naman? So one of the ways is this one, the Porter's 5 forces. No? So the diagram I'll be showing you is from Michael Porter, The Competitive Strategy, Techniques for Analyzing Industries and Competitors, New York, The Free Press, 1980. Para hindi po ako habulin ni Mr. Michael Porter. So you have here the potential development of substitute products, rivalry among competing firms, bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of consumers, and potential entry of new competitors. There might be different interpretations, pero they are similar if not the same. Here is a continuation of Porter's 5 forces, which is part of environmental scanning. First, you have rivalry among existing firms. Diyan po kasi nagsisimula lahat-lahat. Then second, you have the bargaining power of suppliers. So, marami na ang firms, marami ka pang suppliers. So, they can haggle. Kaya nga po tinawag na bargaining power. And next, you have bargaining power of consumers. Ano po ba meron sa mga consumers ng mga firms? Then number 4, threat of new entrants. So, meron ka ng problema sa sarili mong, yung mga firms na nakapaligid sa iyo, may problema ka na sa suppliers, sa consumers, and then meron pang gustong pumasok. And next is threat of new substitutes. Isa pang kalaban to. Hindi mo naman siya direct ng kalaban, pero this one can possibly replace you. Not fully replace you, but it's one of the possible. Kaya nga po tinawag siyang substitutes. So let's start with the definition of rivalry among existing firms para mas maging madali. So the greater the number of rival firms existing in the area, the more intense the competition will become. Even without looking at the definition, correct naman po. Lalo po mas magiging intense. Sa kalam, matira-matibay po ang mangyayari. Let's say, sa palengke nyo, isa lang nagtitinda dati ng gulay. So, nilabanan siya. Naging 2 na sila. Naging 3, 4, 5, 6, hanggang halos lahat ng tindera sa palengke ay puro gulay ang tinda. So, it will get intense. Ano ba mga pwedeng mangyari? Next, bargaining power of suppliers. So, powerful suppliers can demand premium prices and limit your profit. So, syempre, kung malaki ang bargaining power ng suppliers, lilit yung markup mo. Next, consumers. So, ganun din po, no? Baliktad lang. So, si buyers naman, pag masyadong malakas, no? Ang bargaining power niya, or let's say, ang presyo ng milk tea mo, kunwari is 100, and usually, mga kalaban mo is nasa 80, tapos tumataas pa yung supplies mo. So, lumilit palalo yung profits mo. No? Or hindi ka makapagtaas kasi yung mga kalaban mo nga, yung existing firms, nandun sa price na yon, wala rin po silang magawa. Next, threat of new entrants. So, sumabay pa. The presence of new rival firms will increase the total number of competitors in the area. So, let's say, 4 na nga yung nagtitinda ng milk tea doon sa lugar nyo, no? Tapos may pumasok pa na 1 o 2. Lalo na pong pahirapan kasi nag-scatter na yung mga tao. Minsan dito siya sa kabila, minsan dito sa isang tindahan. Rather than isang tindahan, more or less, halos lahat ng tao doon bibili. No? Presence of new rival firms will increase the total number of competitors, yun nga, which further intensifies competition between them. And eto, no, pinaka-double whammy. Threat of new substitutes. Presence of substitute products. So, let's say, ang benta mo milk tea, no? Bigla may naka-imbento ng milkshake. Nilabanan ka ng milkshake or yung sugarcane juice. No? Pwede rin siyang inumin. O sagugulaman. O zagu. No? The presence of substitute products will serve as competitors to existing products. Meron ka na naman panibagong kalaban na indirect. And this further, again, intensifies the competition. So, same ending lang po. Same end result among the companies who produce similar items. So, ways to compete in local and international business, there are actually 4. You have either, number 1, lower cost. So, lower your production costs, and through that, you can lower your selling price. So you already make a competitive advantage over your competition. Offer a lower price relative to a competitor. So let's say, ang cost ng alcohol mo is 230 per gallon. If you can lower your production cost, you can offer it as low as 200. Pag hindi kaya ni competitor, sorry na lang po. No? Next, quality. Baliktad naman po si quality. Offering unique or more desirable features of a product or service. Bahala kayo dyan, magpababa kayo ng presyo. Basta yung sa akin, I will not compensate the quality of my product or service. Mas mahal siguro yung gawa ko, pero mas maganda naman po yung kalidad. Next, speed or flexibility. So, sa speed and flexibility naman, faster delivery. Siguro nga mas mura ka or mas maganda yung quality ng product mo, but I can give it to you right away. Pronto. No? Faster delivery of the product or service or quickly responding to the needs of customers. So let's say may nagko-complain ng internet connection, isang tawag lang. Within the day, nandiyan na kagad, ayos kagad ang internet mo. No problem. No? So, internet connection in the Philippines left the group. No? And last but not the least, si innovation. So ano bang innovation? It involves creating new products or service. Yun naman po yung advantage ni innovation. Or new features. No? So, siguro, mas mura nga siya, mas maganda yung quality, mas mabilis ang delivery, pero siya yung ahead of the competition kasi pwede siya mag-offer ng a different service or a new product or better product. No? Na malalampasan niya yung competitors niya. So, there are also alternative ways to do it. So first and foremost is import and export. So importing, yun nga, selling locally made products in foreign countries. So dito ka gagawa, pebenta mo sa ibang bansa. So a lot of Philippine products are being imported overseas. Export, baliktad naman, no? Buying foreign made products and selling them in local markets. So if you will notice, there is the flow, no? The Hallyu, sabi nga nila, the Korean wave of selling Korean products. Dati, Korean novela lang, no? Ngayon, even the food, we're eating them. No? And I, for one, am guilty of that. No? We always have a supply of Jin ramen. Paminsan-minsan may soju, stuff like that. So exporting. Filipinos patronize foreign products. Sad to say, mas prefer pa nila yung mga imported over local. So a firm may set up its foreign subsidiary, a company it completely owns, to operate in a different country. So let's say yung gumagawa ng Goya chocolate, if they want to expand further, pwede naman silang magbukas sa ibang bansa. Next is licensing and franchising. Ano po ba yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Not much, no? So licensing involves a company granting another firm the rights to make or sell the former's products for a fee. Maraming magandang sample ng licensing, no? Like you were once children, no? Lahat naman tayo naging bata. So for the girls, yung mga damit or bag, merong drawing ng Barbie, right? Or ano pa ba? Winnie the Pooh, Peppa Pig. May mga bata ngayon, kung meron tayong yung mga pamangkin kayo or kapatid na mas bata, no? For the guys, it's more of the superheroes, no? Marvel, DC. No? So yung pagpiprint nun sa mga t-shirt or bags or other accessories, etc., etc., meron pong licensing agreement yun with the manufacturer, no? Ang mga items na yan. So let's say DC, you cannot print DC items. You cannot print Spider-Man on your t-shirts unless pinayagan namin kayo. Next is franchising. It's a form of licensing whereby a company grants another firm the rights to use the former's brand name and operating methods. So, alam naman po natin isa sa pinakamagandang example ng franchising, no? Let's say si Jollibee, or McDonald's. You can franchise, you will become a franchisee. Tapos si McDonald's naman or Jollibee will be the franchisor. So you can operate as Jollibee. You can operate as McDonald's provided that you will adhere to their rules and regulations. Hindi po pwedeng Jollibee ka tapos naglagay ka bigla ng pansit. Bang pwedeng sample? Alabok yung sa Jollibee, no? Biglang naglagay ka ng bihon, no? Or naglagay ka ng Jollibee milk tea, no? Wala namang milk tea kunwari sa Jollibee. So lahat ng products nila ay, no, and even the standards must be adhered or followed. Next is joint venture or strategic alliances. Joint venture is a form of partnership, no? It involves pooling of resources among foreign and local co-investors to operate the business. Pwede kasi siyang one-time deal, let's say sa real estate. One of my backgrounds is sa real estate, so there are some projects wherein they will sign the JV or joint venture agreement. Kunwari, mahal ang lupa sa Binondo, there's a vacant lot, walang pera yung may-ari, and then there's this certain developer. Okay, let's do a JV. Sa iyo lupa, akin yung pagpapatayo. After 25 or 50 years, I will return the building to you. Ikaw na magpapatakbo niya. Something like that. And you can search for other joint ventures. So I'm just describing each. And strategic alliances naman involves local and foreign firms working on specific ways that benefit both parties. So again, you can search kung ano yung mga example ng strategic alliances. And with that, our topic has come to a close. So medyo mahaba po siya pero the topic was worth it. This is one of the key topics in organization and management. As always, thank you very much. If you have questions, feel free to ask. No? As always, walang forever, pero may forever Zosa. Goodbye and good luck. Yours truly has left the building.